Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Friday. Are you guys having a good beginning to your weekend? I am. I am having, as soon as I get done with this vlog, my weekend has begun. Although, I think that I'm going to film quite a few videos tomorrow too. That's my plan right now. I might wake up tomorrow and I might be like, I'm just going to do my vlog today. But right now, I just made my list of videos that I'm going to film tomorrow. So I'm thinking that I might film some videos tomorrow as well. But other than that, I'm planning on relaxing, reading a lot. The rain is finally starting to stop, so I am going to, the first part of my weekend is going to be taking a walk. It's very wet outside, so I don't think that I'm going to take a long walk tonight, but I'm going to take a walk. And then I am going to come back and I'm going to eat something and I'm going to take a shower and take a nap with the little dogs. And that is going to be the beginning of my weekend. So I'm very, very excited about that. All right, let's do a little time and temperature check. It is currently 6:01 p.m. I am still not adjusted to the sun going down. You know, like before daylight savings time or whatever, it would be right now 7:01, which I guess makes sense, but it is so dark already for being 6 o'clock in the evening. I know this is something like, I feel like that's like as you get older, hold on a second, now it's going all out of focus. I feel like as you get older, that's something like my mom used to say. Why is it going in and out of focus so bad? Come on now. Let's turn it around. Anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea that it is so dark outside. Come on now. Focus on me. Anyway, I feel like that's something as you get older, like I remember my mom saying, like, it's so dark so early. I don't remember, like, maybe I did say that when I was younger, but I don't really, I mean, I'm sure I noticed it, but I just feel like, I don't know, it's like, that's just kind of like, as you get older, there's things you say that, like, you remember your parents saying when you were younger, but, like, you kind of thought, like, you would laugh at them about it, like, prices of things, okay, like, you know, like prices of things, like, I don't know, like bread or milk or eggs or something like that, which I don't buy a lot of bread or eggs or milk because I don't cook, but like candy bars. I always notice like candy bars, like I remember when I was growing up as a kid, candy bars were literally like 25 cents. Now they're like $2 and stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Or do you remember when your parents, like, you'd be driving somewhere? My mom would do this all the time. And she'd say, oh, that used to be this diner that we went to when I was in high school. Now look, it's somebody's house or something like that. Like, I notice that stuff too. I say it to people all the time. Like, up north where my friends and we used to drive around in high school and get into all kinds of trouble. It used to be all cornfields, okay? It was just like, we would drive in these cornfields and stuff. Now it's like where Carlos and Liliana live. And so every time we're up at Carlos and Liliana's house, somehow it comes up and I'll say to somebody that's over there, I'll be like, yeah, I can remember when I was in high school and we used to drive up around here. We never thought that these would be housing additions. You know, it's like, it's so crazy, like the things you say as you get older that your parents said, but you thought you would never say. I don't know. Is it like, it's so dark so early? Is that one of those things? Or I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm thinking it's like an older thing to say because like most of my neighbors will be like, can you believe it's so dark so early? I'm like, I mean, my first thought is to say, I know it is because I say it every day. I'm like, I feel like every day I say to Alex, it is so dark so early, you know, or he'll say it to me. But it's like the second thought is, yes, and it happens every year. It happens every year, you know? I don't know. It feels bizarre to me. I'm kind of ready for the summer again. We've got a whole winter to go through. I'm really trying to step into like getting really excited about winter and the cold. Like if I'm inside and I'm watching shows like late at night and it's cold outside and I bring the dogs outside and I'm like, come on you guys, let's go inside. Like then I kind of love it and stuff. But somebody's texting me. But if, you know, like if I have to go somewhere in the rain, I'm like, ugh. Was it like on Wednesday, was I sitting out here? What was I waiting for the other day? Maybe it was when I was waiting for like one of the work people to show up for the patio door. And it was like pouring down rain in the morning. And I was like, oh my God, it's so rain. I don't feel like it, maybe it was Wednesday morning. Anyway, I don't know. But like if I have to go out in it, snow I think is pretty. Like I like the snow. The rain I think is pretty too. Like, oh, here comes my neighbor right now. What are you doing out there in the dark?
Getting the mail.
Getting the mail? You're kind of late for that.
One thing.
it sounds like you're eating dinner. Watch. Can you believe how dark it is so early?
It's so dark, I hate it.
Have a good one.
Me too. Every day I get lighter.
I know. Well, starting December 21st, I think.
That's right.
She said every day it's getting lighter. Cheers to that. I love living in this neighborhood so much. Anyway, I could see her coming out, but I could hardly see her because it's so dark in the driveway over there. You know what? Her motion sensor lights didn't go on when she went out. Should we look at the temperature and the weather? Rain. It was supposed to stop by now. Do I have my reading glasses? Oh my God, this is the first time I don't have a poop bag in my pocket. Thank God it's not filled. I don't put filled poop bags in my pocket. I don't. Anyway, let's look at the temperature and see what the temperature is. It's not super cold right now. 49 showers in the vicinity. When are the showers supposed to stop? Oh, it shows it raining until like 12 a.m. Seriously though? Seriously though? Rain early, then remaining cloudy with showers overnight. Great. Well, it's not raining too hard. I can take a walk. So for my Peter Gusto channel, I did a walk in the woods. Oh my God, I went down into the creek. So the last time I did it, let's look at tomorrow really quick. Hold on. 50 degrees, partly sunshine along with some cloudy intervals. When does it start getting real cold? Oh, next Wednesday, 42, 37, 35. Oh, then first week of December, 37, 33, 34. I bet we're going to have some snow that first week of December. Let's see here. Cloudy with occasional rain showers, high of 37. Yeah, I could definitely snow that day. That's on the 3rd. When I did my walk in the woods today, it was so cute because, so Alex tonight is going to his work holiday party. So this is just one of like, so Alex works out of like 6 offices. And so each office has like an individual party, no spouses. Just, I know people are gonna be like, you didn't go to Alex. No, there's no spouses invited to this. So this is like one of like, I think 2 offices are combined. So this is like, and 1 office is out of town. So I think he goes to 4 of them. So this is 1 of 4. And then like his friends that work at this office that he's going to today, they do like a spouse's dinner later. So we'll do that like later in December. So they start real early to get like, cause people's got stuff closer to Christmas. Cause I said, this holiday party, it's not even, we haven't even had Thanksgiving yet. And you're all having this holiday party. He goes, we talked about this last year because we got the holiday parties really early. But like this one he had to like organize and like put together and stuff. So he had to leave real early to go get stuff and pick up like the gifts for everybody and stuff like that. So anyway, so he is at his holiday party tonight. He left here like right at 5 o'clock. So we left here about an hour ago. He was like real concerned. He's like, well, what are you going to do tonight? I said, well, I'm going to take my walk, because we were talking about my walk. And I said, I'm going to take my walk, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to take a nap and a shower and eat, and I'm going to watch TV. And he started laughing, and he was like, so kind of like every other, I go, yeah, kind of like every other night. Because I said to him, he was like, he said, do you want to come home? Like, I can watch a movie or something. I said, yeah, sure, if you want to watch a movie. And he said, unless we do something afterwards. I said, feel free to go, because like, they sometimes, you know, the different teams from different places go into. I said, go, if you guys want to go out and do something afterwards. I said, I mean, this is not a wild bunch. So afterwards will still be early. The party starts at 6, so it'll probably be over by 8. So, I mean, even if he goes out, he'll be home by like 11. It's not going to be a late night. And then tomorrow, he has a Friendsgiving that he's going to. And I was invited to that, and I declined the invitation. I really like the couple that's doing it, but it's like, it's just like a drinking thing, and I know the couple, I know them really well. We actually went to a wedding a couple years ago in Dallas with them. I've known them for a long time. Alex used to work with her. And so, like, our first year dating, they were dating. Then we went to their wedding. I think they got married, like, our 2nd year together. So we've known them, like, the whole time that we've been together. I really like the couple. But I don't, like, Alex and her haven't worked together for a long time. And so I don't know a lot of the other couples that come. And it'll just be me, like, showing up to say hi. And so I was like, no, you go to Friendsgiving. You have a great time. I'm going to stay at home. We've got a lot of stuff going on next week between 2 Thanksgivings between Alex's aunt's house and Caroline's, and then we have a dinner next week, and we have another dinner, and so we've got a lot of stuff going on next week. I was like, this weekend, I'm going to film videos, I'm going to relax, I'm going to get a lot of reading done, I'm going to get caught up on my shows. So that's my plan for this weekend. But anyway, so he looked so nice when he left. He had on like these silver, he was trying to find something. He's like, I want to look something like holiday. I said, he has this really cute sweater. I actually got him a sweater. It has like a fox on it, but it's like the whole thing is like a fox. But it kind of looks Christmassy. I don't really know how to explain it. I think the fox has like a scarf. The sweater sounds cheesy as I'm explaining it, but it's not. It's really cute. I think the fox has like a scarf or something on it. But anyway, I said something to him about wearing that. He's like, no. And then I said, well, are you gonna, I mean, to me, when I think of holiday, I'm like, wear something red, right? Like, I always like on Christmas, like to wear like a red plaid shirt, flannel, or like a red sweater or something. He goes, I'm not doing red. And I go, okay, well, what's holiday to you? And he goes, silver and black. So he had these pants on that are like silver, I don't know, silkish kind of pants. And he had these big black shoes on. And then this like black silk shirt on with this like, I gave him the sweater actually. It's one of those sweaters that has all the holes in it. And so he's wearing that black. He looks really nice. Looks very handsome, very cute tonight. So anyway, my handsome husband. Somebody in my video the other day, I was talking about putting something together, and no, it was not the table that I still have not put together. But they said, I can't remember what, it wasn't on this video. It was on some other video. And they said, maybe it was on this channel, I don't know. But they said, you should have your beautiful assistant, Alex, help you with that. Okay, and it was so funny. Because, like, if you just read through the comments, you wouldn't get it. But it's a reference to Sister Wives, because Cody calls Robin his beautiful assistant. And I read the comment. It was, like, in the middle of the night when I read it. I was, like, sitting there watching TV, and I just started laughing. I was like, oh, my God. I love the shade of that comment. Some of the comments that you guys leave are so funny. Maybe I'll go through some comments here in a second, because I haven't done that in a while. But anyway, and then I'll call it Be Real Serious Face. But I will never know where to find this thumbnail. Responding to comments. 12-minute mark. Responding to comments. Responding to these comments. So anyway, I'm actually very excited about my relaxing weekend. It's a good weekend for me when I don't have to go anywhere. No true. I mean, other than like brunch in the grocery store, like, I love that. But like, it's a good weekend for me. You know, when I get to like a dinner, it's not even about my social anxiety anymore, and it's not even about, like, I'm just not, like, a people person and whatever. I mean, once I get there, I enjoy myself, but, like, then I never really want to stay that long. You know, I don't know what it is. I just like being home. I love being at home. I love being in my comfy clothes. You know, when we have something to do, like, we went to his friend's birthday, you know, dinner or whatever, like, and we have this couple's dinner we're doing, and then we have another dinner next week. Like, I get excited about doing it. Like, I like to go out to dinner and do that stuff. I haven't really felt the pull. Like, when we're in another town, like Las Vegas or, like, especially Miami, like, Alex would be like, do you want to go see a drag show? Do you want to, like, go out to this bar? Like, then I'm, like, down for it. But here in town, like, well, he hasn't really, like, gone out in a while. He always asks me, he's like, do you want to go downtown with me? I'm like, no, that sounds miserable to me. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I did it for so long. You know, like, I mean, I started going out when I was 18 with a fake ID. So, I mean, I started going out at 18, and, you know, when I first got sober, didn't go out for, like, 2 years. And then I went out again, and then Alex and I went out a lot when we first started dating. And I just kind of, like, I don't know, like, every once in a while, if we go out, I have a good time. But I just can't do staying out till... I mean, it's funny because when I say this to people, they'll be like friends of ours, they'll be like, well, you have no problem staying up till 5 or 6 o'clock watching TV. I'm like, yeah, 100%. Like, sitting on the chair in there, drinking a cup of coffee, taking the dogs outside. Oh, no. Like, with Alex upstairs asleep with the fan going, and it's so soothing and calm to me, 100%. Like, I can stay up till 7 or 8. But being out, standing in a bar, like... Every once in a while, I have a good time doing it, but, you know, the thing that's interesting is I can remember feeling like in my head when I would be out there, like, I'm just going to stay a little bit longer, I'll stay a little bit longer. Like, Alex, he could care less if I stayed or not. Now, like, when I don't have a problem being the first person to leave, ever. Like, I don't think it's rude. You know, and the other thing I've learned is that nobody really cares, you know, like, nobody cares if you're the first person to leave or whatever. And I'll go around everybody and be like, you know, it's great seeing you. I have a better time knowing that, like, now if I'm like at a wedding or out somewhere or whatever, let Alex stay and do what he wants to do. Like, it's for me, if I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And then I get home and like I take off my stuff and take the dogs out, and I am so relaxed. And then I had a good time doing what I did. You know, I think part of me going out back in the day and not having such a good time was that I felt like I had to stay the duration. When I go and do stuff now, like, I leave when I'm ready to leave. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not rude about it. I'm not like, F you, I'm out of here. But I'll just be like, hey, you guys, like, I think I'm gonna go. Like, you know, the dogs, to be honest with you, are like a really good excuse because people understand that. You're like, you know, I don't want to leave the dogs, you know, alone too long, so I'm gonna get home to the dogs and whatever. But I don't even feel like I need an excuse to leave. I'm just like, you know, I'm gonna go home and whatever. I mean, I do say, because I don't want to leave the dogs at home that long. But anyway, I don't know, like, I'm not rude about it, but I'm just like, I think I'm gonna go. And the thing is, like, nobody's ever upset about it and stuff, you know? And Alex is always like, do you want me to come with you? I'm like, you can if you want, but no, if you want to stay out, stay out. I think in the past, like when we would go out like a lot, like I'm talking like 4 or 5 nights a week, like I felt like I had to stay the duration to the point that I almost kind of became resentful of going out because I just wasn't having fun. Now when I go out and do something, I think also like Uber has changed and Lyft has changed a lot of that because you can just leave whenever you want, you know, instead of being like, okay, like, when's everybody ready to go? I think that's changed a lot. I mean, you could get cabs back in the day, but nobody got cabs. Uber and Lyft has changed all that. And so I just, you know, I mean, one of the first things I learned in early recovery is I can leave a place whenever I don't feel comfortable or I'm ready to go. Today, it's not so much that I don't feel comfortable. It's just that I'm ready to go. And I'd rather show up and be fun and have fun while I'm there then stay longer and then be like, why am I still staying here? I'm not doing that. So, I don't know. But anyway, you know, I think back on those days, when Alex and I were going out a lot, I mean, towards the end was when I started feeling like I didn't want to be out. It'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning and I'd be like having a conversation with somebody that I'd be like, I'd be in my head thinking, I'm not really this close to this person. I don't really know them that well. And I'm having a serious conversation in a bar at 1 o'clock. I don't drink, they do. They're not gonna remember this conversation tomorrow. And I could be at home watching a TV show or a movie, but I would stay anyway, you know? And then I get home and I feel like I just wasted the night. You know, and I would talk to Alex about it at the time and he'd even be like, well, babe, you can go home anytime you want, don't worry about it, you know? And I mean, and he was like, if you wanna go home, just let me know, we'll go home, you know? And I was like, no, I didn't wanna ruin his good time, and so I stayed, and I don't know, like, I think I had to go through that to get to the point that when I came back into the rooms of recovery, that I was kind of done. I was like, I've done it. And now, like, I can't even remember the last time that I went out to, like, a bar or a club. Alex doesn't really go out to clubs anymore. Every once in a blue moon, he will to, like, hear a DJ. But he goes to, like, a lot of loungy places. I don't mind that. Like, I could do that. You know, like, as long as I have a place, this is the other thing, as I've gotten older, as long as I have a place to sit, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good. I also never wanted to be the old man in the bar. I mean, like, that's the other thing. You know, it's like, I don't know. But it's interesting because we have a lot of friends of ours that are, like, 5 to 10 years older than me, and they still go out regularly. I mean, like, every single weekend they go out. I see them on Facebook. They're posting pictures. They and their wives, every single weekend they go out. Like, Friday and Saturday night, they are out every single night at the clubs downtown. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, aren't you tired? I'm like, I would be so tired. People are like, you stay up so late, aren't you tired? I'm like, yeah, I'm tired. And I'm just watching TV at home, and I'm still tired. You know what I mean? I don't know how you're doing it, standing in a bar. Every once in a while, I kind of get the itch for it. So Alex was asking me something the other day about, you know, like, we went and saw Rufus Du Sol this summer. And I can remember, like, it was, like, in March or something. And he asked me, he said, we're all getting tickets, me and my friends, to go see Rufus Du Sol. They played at Deer Creek. Well, it's called Klipsch or something now, but I'll always call it Deer Creek. This, like, you know, outside, it's like the concert place in Indianapolis. Taylor Swift and those people, they played, like, downtown, like, at the field house, like, where the Colts and Pacers and stuff play like that. But anyway, I can't even remember what those places are called. Anyway, but Deer Creek is, like the outside concert venue, and it's where, like, my high school graduation was and stuff. Anyway, Alex asked me, like, in March, whenever the tickets went on sale, April, something like that, he's like, do you want to go to Rufus Du Sol? And I was like, oh yeah, I really do. Well, it was like a week before Rufus Du Sol, and he was like, don't forget we have Rufus de Sol next. I think it was on a Sunday night, maybe. And he was like, we're going to all go over to like so-and-so's house first and meet there and whatever. And I like immediately, I don't really know how to explain, like that was like a social anxiety thing for me. Even though I knew everybody, I can have really bad social anxiety, even though like my friend Erin, when she didn't have the Halloween party this year, but when she does, like parties like that, even Caroline's house, like going over there when I know she's gonna be like, oh, 5 of my friends are coming and I know all the friends, like that even makes me nervous. I don't really know how to explain it. I mean, I have delved so deep into the social anxiety and I am 10 times better now than I was 10 years ago. But it is still a real struggle for me. I mean, like, not as bad as it was 10 years ago. Like, 10 years ago, I just wouldn't go. Like, that was a big part of, like, some of our relationship issues. Like, Alex understood it, and he got it and respected it. But, like, Alex would go, I mean, I'm not talking about, like, out at night. I'm talking about, like a baby shower or, like, a couple's engagement party. Like, I just would not, no, to everything, I just wouldn't go. Even like him asking me, he'd be like, so-and-so invited. I'd be like, immediately I could just feel like my chest tighten up. I just felt so nervous. I think a lot of it also was so much about my weight. I was just so critical of myself. I mean, every word in my head, that when I would see myself in pictures or, you know, the mirror, I just was constantly putting myself down about my body image and how I looked. And so then I think the social anxiety fed in with that, and I was like, I don't want anybody talking about me, I don't want anybody saying anything about me, and it was just easier because I just stay at home. But then at home, I'd comfort eat, and I don't know, it just was... When I came back into recovery, at that time, I hadn't gained a lot of weight back. My social anxiety is related a lot to my weight, I think. I mean, now it's mostly an emotional thing in my head. But I think it started with the bullying years ago, but I think the weight fed so much into it. Man, I was like, when I came out here today, I was like, I don't even have really a lot to talk about. And here I am talking about all this stuff today, this deep stuff. But when I started going back to meetings, and I've talked about this a lot, I was just talking about this the other day, I was going to 2 meetings a day almost every day of the week. So I was going to like 10 to 14 meetings a week. Well, I was going to a clubhouse. I was going to like, there's like recovery clubhouses where they have like 5 meetings a day. Gift shop, and like some of them have not restaurants, but they'll have like a concession stand, diner, or coffee shop kind of place. Well, I was going to this one clubhouse. Indianapolis has 7 clubhouses in Indianapolis, I think. So the one that I used to go to at that time, well, when I first got sober, there was one that's like 10 minutes from where we live right now that I went to all the time. That's probably the one that the most people in Indianapolis go to. It's pretty big. It's like, most of them are like, they look like houses. That one has 2 group rooms upstairs, big meeting rooms. Downstairs, a concession stand, an area where people can sit, but they can have meetings there. So there's like 5 group rooms there. It's big. And then when I switched meetings, oh God, 6 or 7, this is before my new sponsor. So maybe 8 or 9 years ago, it was right when I got on YouTube. I was going to a different clubhouse. That clubhouse was really small. Well, not small, but it was, they remodeled it actually not too long ago. And it had a coffee shop in it because, I don't know that I talked a lot about this. So there was a Wednesday night meeting. That was when I was going to all candlelight meetings. And so, I gotta sit back and get comfortable. I was going to a lot of candlelight meetings. My sponsor at the time, he went to a lot of meetings there as well. That period of my life, I loved. I just want to say, I mean, I've loved a lot of periods of my life, but that period of my life, I really, really enjoyed that period of my life. That was when my sponsor before that, he was like, I think you need to get out of yourself and try some different meetings and go places and meet some new people, because I was just going to the same meetings all the time. And so a friend of mine, actually, we went to that. He was like, one night he was like, let's go to this candlelight meeting. And so we went to this candlelight meeting. It was like a 10 o'clock meeting there on like a Friday. And we went to it. And that first meeting was when I met my new sponsor that I got right after that. This car is coming really slow down. Oh, it's my neighbor. I was like, why are they coming so slow down the street? They just pulled in. And I wasn't really going to candlelight meetings at that time. This clubhouse had candlelight meetings Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then there was a candlelight meeting at a homeless shelter. It was like a homeless recovery house that I went to on Thursday nights. Wednesday night, the clubhouse had a candlelight meeting. I love candlelight meetings. So candlelight meetings are usually later at night, like 9 or 10, sometimes even later than that. This clubhouse that I went to, I don't know how they were able to do it. I think they changed it in the last couple years because Tanya and I went to a candlelight there and they had fake candles, but at that time, they had real candles. And so you turn off the lights. I know it sounds very cultish. It wasn't. It was very peaceful and serene. But you turn off all the lights and then there's like every 2 feet. I chaired a lot of these meetings, so I set them up. There was like a basket of candles, and so you put these little candles out all over. Speaking of candles, enough of you said yesterday that you liked the allure of the candles, so I have the candle pairing again, and I have the lighter that I brought with me, so we will light the candles. I have to just say, I know this is going to sound so corny when I say it, this period of my life that I'm talking about was really a reparative time for Alex and I. It was like when we got into therapy, I was doing a lot of soul searching on my own. I was super focused on recovery. I was extremely involved in doing service work. I was going at that time, I think, to 6 or 7 meetings a week, but they were all evening meetings. And, but I was more involved than I was when I was going to 2 meetings a day. I don't even know how to make, if you're in a 12-step program, that'll make sense to you. I mean, at that time I was sponsoring a lot of people. I was doing a lot of recovery work. I was chairing a lot of meetings. I had like 2 service positions. But like Alex and I would like have dinner, and then like he would get ready for bed, and then I would go to those meetings. And afterwards, sometimes like I asked Tanya a lot if she wanted to go to the meeting, so sometimes I would go pick up Tanya and go to the meeting. That meeting was about a half an hour from here, that clubhouse. And so I would go to the candlelight meetings. Well, the candlelight meetings were usually from like 9:30 to 10:30, sometimes 10 to 11. And then, that one at the homeless recovery house, it was late. It was an hour and a half too. I think it started and it went from like 10 to 11:30. Tanya loved that meeting. I went to that regularly every single week. I remember I met this guy there. He and I became really good friends. This totally put my recovery in perspective for me. Well, 2 things. The meetings that I went to on the north side of Indianapolis that I had gone to the majority of my life, like you go to them and there's like just a big coffee. You know, I talk a lot about coffee and the importance of coffee. This is one of the things that like, this is why my sponsor was like, you need to get out of yourself and go to different meetings and meet other people. And so the meetings I was going to, like you just go there and you just take it for granted that there's a coffee maker. There's just somebody that makes coffee. And not only that, but it's a huge coffee maker at my home group. And there's a decaf one and there's a regular one. And then the money that is donated goes to buying the coffee and the styrofoam cups. And the styrofoam cups that we have in my home group are really nice. They're like, have lids on them. There's, sugar and all kinds of stuff, creamer and everything. When I started going to this other clubhouse, there was no coffee there. There was, like, if you wanted coffee, you either bought a cup at the concession stand or what people did, and it took me a while to kind of figure it out. I didn't really understand it. Is that somebody would buy like a coffee, like a pot of coffee, like, like you just go in and make a pot of coffee in your kitchen, like a pot of coffee like that. And then they had like a burner in each of the rooms to like keep it warm, was like $3 or $4. And so somebody would buy like a pot of coffee and then donate it to the meeting. Well, the meetings that I was going to, there were a lot of people that were coming from recovery houses. There were a lot of people that had no money at all, not even $1, not even 50 cents to their name. And so a free cup of coffee to them, like, meant a lot. Like, I mean, it meant a lot. And it really put things in perspective for me at that time in my life. Like, I needed to be right-sized a lot and stop complaining about things in the world that I was looking for 1,000,001 things to complain about. And in my own life, I'm not happy about this, I'm not happy about that. And then I'm meeting and befriending all these guys I was sponsoring a lot of guys at that time that were in this recovery center where you had to dedicate a year to your life to live there. And so they all lived in this place, and they had curfews, and they all had to work for this place. That was part of the commitment of being there for a year. And these guys came from all over Indiana, and they had very, very little, and a lot of them had left kids and wives and girlfriends and families behind. A lot of them had been incarcerated and just became some of my greatest friends. And so then the camera stopped. When you're sitting there and you want to complain about the fact that, you and your husband are arguing over you can't figure out where you want to go on vacation, and somebody's so grateful that somebody else spent $4 on a pot of coffee so they could have a warm cup of coffee on a cold February night, it puts shit in perspective for you. Another friend of mine that I met that was living he was living there then, but he shared with me one time, he was like, I said something about when did you start living here? Those people that lived in that halfway house, which interestingly enough, if you guys have watched my vlog for a long time, I think it's been 4 or 5 years now. Alex's closest guy friend passed away 4 or 5 years ago in May. I think it was May. It was right after we went to Rev. It was the week or two after that. Oh my God, that was so bizarre, you guys. The tripod just slowly went down, and then the candles kind of went low and then flickered up. It was a really spiritual moment. It was bizarre because I was talking about Alex's friend. It almost, I don't know, it felt kind of eerie for a moment. And as I was setting it up, I was just kind of thinking about that period of my life, and I was it's so interesting. It's not I think about, there's a lot of periods in my recovery that are extremely significant. Every day is significant, but there's periods in my life that I look at that period that I was going specifically to that clubhouse and had that sponsor and whatever, and it was and that's when Alex and I were heavy at the beginning in therapy. Things were not good at the beginning, and it's that period was such a period of growth for me and Alex and us together, individually and together as a couple. And I can remember those meetings were such a part of it, and I just remember just this, it was a restructuring of my life, a restructuring of our relationship, and I can remember just feeling so peaceful. So anyway, I was talking about Alex's friend that had passed away. Well, Alex's friend, we had gone to this, his friend was on the board of this halfway house. His friend sat on the board of a lot of these halfway houses. And so, he was on the board of this halfway house. And so I think it was a year before that or something, he had asked us to go to this fundraiser, which was interesting because we went to this fundraiser with him and I think his girlfriend at the time. And we went there, it was a fundraiser for this organization, and people that, it was interesting because they had people, so a lot of recovery houses that have fundraisers and treatment facilities and stuff, past patients, they'll have come up and tell their story and inspire people, whatever, to donate money and whatever to the organization. These are all non-for-profit organizations, halfway houses and stuff. And I can remember we were there, and I knew so many people just from the recovery community, but it was interesting because the three, they asked I think it was they asked 3 people, and it was 2 guys and a woman, and I knew one of the guys and I knew the woman sharing their story from meetings, and it was and everybody else, it was I knew their stories because I had sat in meetings with them. But anyway, so when I would go to that meeting afterwards, I would always think about him. But anyway, afterwards, Alex and 2 of his friends organized his memorial, and he had a funeral in the town that he was from in Kentucky that we went to, but they also arranged a memorial here and had DJs and stuff because he loved electronic dance music and all that. He coached football on the South Side, and he had been a football coach and a mentor and all this kind of stuff. He's just a really neat guy. But anyway, all the money that they raised from the memorial, they donated to this halfway house and did all this kind of stuff. It was just really, really cool. Sad. He was a great guy. He was a really, really great guy. My husband spoke at his memorial. I can remember Alex was so worried. Alex very rarely asks me for advice on situations like that, And I remember he's not about my YouTube stuff, but sharing my story whenever. He's you've done a lot of public speaking. He's I don't really know what to share. And I was well, what do you have written so far? And he was like, it was interesting because I remember Alex was really nervous because his mom was coming. And he was like, my mom's such a good public speaker and blah, 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 whatever. And I think there was like, this was like, they had this at this place in Indianapolis downtown. They have like a lot of like DJ concerts and stuff like that. And it was like really nice and it was catered and all this kind of stuff. And he was like, I'm just really nervous. I don't want to get emotional. I said, well, what's wrong if you get emotional? Like, this was a dedication to one of your best friends. And I think Alex kind of saw him as like an older brother type a little bit. I mean, Carlos is, a year younger than him. Alex is the oldest. So I think he saw him as an older brother type. He gave Alex a lot of great like life advice and stuff like that. And I remember he, right before we went to Rev, right before he passed away that year, he was on like the board of Rev too. And I remember he came into our house and Alex was going with him. And that was the year that I was going with our friend. This girl that we're friends with. Ever since then, Alex and I have always gone together, but that year we got like different tickets. And so Alex was going as a +1. I think his friend got the tickets and they were going with +1s with like people that were on the board. And so then at the last minute, our friend said to Alex, because Alex always wanted to go to Rev. I think maybe that was, he had been 1 year before. I had never been. And so Alex, she's like, I knew you wanted to go, Alex. Like, do you want to go? And he's like, I already have a ticket. I'm going with somebody, but Peter would love to go. And so I ended up going with her. We had a blast. It was so fun. It's our friend that was like, it was not our friend that married us, but another Miss Indiana that we're really, really close with and that was at our wedding and stuff like that. That was a fun year. So anyway, I remember him coming in and he was waiting for Alex to get ready and we were like downstairs talking and he had just gotten this suit, like all of his suits were custom made and he was showing me this suit and he had his like initials, like they were, sewn into the inside pocket and all this kind of stuff and he was really like proud of this suit, whatever. He was a really neat guy. But I remember Alex asking me, he was like, I just don't want to mess it up and blah, 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 whatever. And he asked me something about, I said, well, what do you have written so far? And so like he pulled out his phone and he had some stuff written and it was very kind of like anytime, like Alex to this day, like one of the things from therapy is that Alex has really leaned into his emotions a lot. And so today, I think it would be a lot different, but like, even with like he still to this day has a really hard time talking about my Aunt Kathy. Like he and my Aunt Kathy, Caroline's mom, were so close. He loved her so much. And I also think because she was really like the only connection to my mom, like he never really got to know my mom because he said that a couple times. He's like, I got to know your mom kind of through her. He's not many times since he said that, but a couple times. But he was really, really close to my Aunt Kathy and she was very good to him and they loved each other. And so, like, if my Aunt Kathy comes, he just gets real emotional about it. Like, when we talk about Boo and Tucker and Pee-Pee, he still, to this day, gets real, real emotional about it, I think at that time, he was really kind of afraid of, like, letting his emotions show, so to speak. And so, what he had written, it was fine. It was good. But it was very kind of, like, jokey and, like, personal jokes and whatever. And I can remember him reading it to me, he just kind of looked at me, and I said, and he said, what do you think? I said, I think it's fine. Like, I think it, like, I wasn't going to tell him what to write, and I said, I think it's, I mean, a lot of people, tell funny stories about people when they've passed and stuff. I said, I think you feel differently about him than that. And he was like, I just don't want to mess it up. I said, just get up there and talk from your heart. I'll never forget, he wrote this whole thing out, and then he got up there, and he put his phone away, and he just, like, spoke from his heart. It was beautiful. I've never been prouder of my husband. It was one of the most, I mean, my husband does a lot of public speaking now for his job. It was beautiful. It was not planned. It was from his heart, and it was just one of the most amazing dedications I've ever heard. I was so impressed, and I was so proud of him, and he just let it come from his heart, and he did allow himself to get emotional. And I can remember his mom just like went up to him afterwards and she was so proud of him too. It was just such a sweet moment. But that period in my life, it's not the candles. It's something that's smelling like a bonfire out here. It smells like somebody's burning leaves. In the rain? I can't stand the rain. That period of my life, this guy though that I met that lived at that halfway house. I asked him, I think one time I said, like, how did you find out about this halfway house? This halfway house is literally like, it's a house. It's like a duplex, but they made it in just to one. And so, but it's just like in a row of houses downtown. And so I said something to him one time. We became friends and we were outside talking or whatever after a meeting. And he said, like he had been homeless living on the streets, like nowhere to live. And he had heard about this meeting from somebody else. And so he started coming to this meeting because the meeting was held right outside of like, it was like their snack room lounge. So like, it was like this area that had like a fireplace. The fireplace was never going, but they had candles. And so like you would walk in and like the front door was here and then the staircase went up to the rooms and then there was another winding area that went back to some of the, I think the women were on the main floor and the men were upstairs or something like that. But to the right, around the corner, was like this living room area with like couches and chairs and stuff like that, and that's where the meeting was. Well, there was an area like in the middle where they would have like a small little refrigerator with snacks and like a coffee pot and stuff like that. And so he said that I was standing in here getting a cup of coffee one time, something about, I saw that in the refrigerator they had like bread and peanut butter. And so I used to come because I knew I could get a peanut butter sandwich and it was my only meal for the day. Like I would come here and stay for the meeting and I would just stand in the kitchen and pour people's coffee when they came up, and then I would make myself like a couple peanut butter sandwiches and that's what I would eat for the day. So I knew if I came to this meeting I could get a peanut butter sandwich. And he said, so basically I got sober so I could have a peanut butter sandwich every single day. You know, you see documentaries, you see movies and stuff, but when somebody's standing in front of you and they share a story like that, and that's not the first time I had heard a story like that. I mean, that was probably the 1,000th time I'd heard a story like that. I think I needed to hear it at that point in my life. I needed to be humbled. I needed to be right-sized a little bit and really about, you know, like, and he's sober today and doing very, very well. You know, and there's a lot of people that aren't, you know, that I've met through the years. But to think that a peanut butter sandwich is what, and then he, you know, at some point somebody was like, we have rooms available, like, and, you know, he ended up staying there and living there. I don't know, it's powerful, you know? It's why today, like, when I talk about a cup of coffee at a meeting, and I talk about the power of it, like, I can remember coming into meetings and people be like, do you want a cup of coffee? Nobody had offered me anything before. They didn't want something from me. They didn't want me to sleep with them or get them something or pay them. You know, it was always something somebody wanted from me. And I start coming into meetings and people are like, do you want a cup of coffee? Like, it's free. And, you know, I get a cup of coffee in a styrofoam cup. And it was like, it wasn't just about the coffee in a styrofoam cup. It was about people welcoming, people remembering my names. Hey, Peter, how are you? Like, I'm so glad you came back. Let's go get some coffee. You know, let's go to the coffee maker. And it was that cup of coffee. It is now pouring down rain. How am I going to... I might have to use my walking pad tonight. Because it's... I mean, it's not cold, but it's cold enough that it's going to be a cold walk. I think I might try to use my walking pad tonight and see how it goes for the first time. Yeah, it's really coming down. And yet I sit here on my front porch covered in the comfort of my candlelight. You know, like, I think... I don't know, maybe I'm being led to tell these stories again to remind me of, like, there are people out there that have it so much worse than I will ever have it, you know? I need reminded of that, you know? When you, interestingly enough, I haven't been complaining or I haven't been into self-pity lately and stuff like that, but the cup of coffee for me is so powerful. Thinking of that, I want to sip my coffee. I think it was about the coffee. I can remember sitting, I mean, I still to this day just love, there's something about, I did put a little bit of creamer in here. This is the Illy coffee. I put a little bit of the Italian sweet creamer in here. But I do remember, like, just sitting there with a cup of coffee at these tables, and that was when you could smoke in meetings, and we'd smoke through the whole meetings. I can remember sitting in this one meeting, it was on a Thursday night at this union hall in the winter when I first got sober, and there was like 8 guys in this meeting, including me, and they were all over my one friend that would drag me into this meeting, this guy that I had met in treatment, he and I would go to this meeting, and it was these tough as nails, these, I mean, they were tough, these like 70-year-old guys, sitting around smoking one Winston after another. And I can just remember sitting there with my cup of coffee, and it was in this Union Hall basement. I can still see it today, and I know they still have meetings there. I haven't been to a meeting there in forever. I don't know, I felt part of something bigger than myself, and like coffee kind of connected me to that. Coffee made me feel human. I don't know, it warmed me up, and I got sober December 17th, it was cold. That was one of the coldest winters ever. And I can remember going to meetings after that, and that winter, it was just a really cold winter. And I can just remember, like, every time going to a meeting and getting coffee, like, where's the coffee pot? You know, where's coffee? I don't know, when my sponsor recommended me to go find something, you know, different, to right-size myself, and then I started going to those meetings at that clubhouse, and I can remember going in there and, like, buying a cup of coffee, and they'd be like, what size do you want? And the large was like this big 24-ounce cup, and it was like $1.25 for this big cup of coffee. And I can remember the coffee just, it was so bad, it tasted so good, you know? And I can, so anyway, Sunday night, I still went to my home group on Tuesdays that I go to now, but on Sunday nights I changed I went to that meeting, but it wasn't my home group during that time. It was kind of, like, I still kept on going and whatever, but, like, because my new sponsor, Sunday night at that clubhouse was his home group meeting, so I was going there a lot. And then I had a service position at that meeting, too. But then the Sunday meeting was a discussion meeting. Friday night was a speaker meeting. Saturday night was a discussion meeting. Wednesday nights was a 12 and 12 meeting. And so what we would do is, like, one week we would talk about a tradition, and one week we would talk about, that was so good for me. We would talk about a step. So there's traditions in 12-step meetings, and there's steps. Steps are what you work on yourself. Traditions are what unify the program. They're not rules, but traditions are kind of rules. It's like where anonymity comes from and stuff like that. People's desire to use, why they're there, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but like one week we would just spend an hour, and the meetings were small. There was only like, I mean, sometimes there'd be 4 of us, sometimes there'd be 12 of us, but it was never more than that. And we sat up in like the chairs around this like dining room table, kind of up in the coffee shop. It was real cozy, and I can remember there was like 2 windows in there, and it would be like snowing outside. It was really cozy. Well, my sponsor and I chaired that meeting. So he taught me how to run the coffee shop because he was running the coffee shop. So we would close the coffee shop together. And I can remember, like, we would, like, you know, make coffee for everybody and buy the pots and whatever. It just was, that was a really, really good period of my life. And I can remember I'd come home or I'd go get Tanya. I wasn't, like, getting home super, super late and stuff like that. It was just a really cathartic period of my life. And I was already friends. I don't know, it's something about the candlelights. I feel like I needed that as a nighttime lover anyway. The battery just went to the halfway mark. I don't really know how long I've been well, I started that right at 6, didn't I? Okay, so it's like 6:50. So I guess I've been going for about 50 minutes. There was something about sitting in the dark of a candlelight meeting where all you can see is just, I mean, it literally was like a dark room with just like 10 candles like this. There was something so peaceful and serene about it to me. And I was going to, Monday night, I think, was the only night that I didn't go to a meeting. And I think we had therapy on Monday nights. Tuesday night, I went to my home group with Tanya Jean. Wednesday nights, I went to the candlelight at the clubhouse in the coffee shop. Thursday night, I went to the halfway house. That meeting was like, maybe it was 10:30 to 12. It was late. Because Tanya would go, she loved that meeting, but she'd say, it just gets out so late, and it was downtown, so by the time that we would get home, we would sometimes stop at IHOP and eat on the way home, but by the time we got home, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and she'd say, it's too late, I can't do that meeting this week. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I was at the clubhouse for candle, and it was all, so other than Tuesday nights, I was going to all candlelights. And there was something so peaceful about it, of just, you know, just like, I love sitting out here sometimes, and just like, not even having candles lit, but just like turning off the lights and just sitting in the dark, and just like tonight, like just listening to the rain. There's a peace that comes with it. There's a clarity of mind. There's a clearing of your mind of just like, I don't know, it's sometimes like my favorite moment is like laying in bed with my arm tucked under the blanket, my one foot out, like Alex is next to me in bed, you know, and I'm like, it's moments before I fall asleep, and I'm just like, it's sometimes for me when my mind is the clearest. And I've really, really been practicing this a lot lately, that if my mind starts spiraling to negative things, I think I just focus on what are the few good things that really happened today. And they're always the simplest moments, like me sitting watching a show with the dogs next to me, or they have a lot to do with the dogs, you know? It's like, I knew the dogs would bring me, I knew getting a dog would bring me peace, but I didn't know how much peace they would bring me. They must be out. They have been running around all day today with Alex downstairs. God love it. I was like, Alex is like, are you going to film? He's like, I was like, yeah, if you don't mind. He's like, no, I'll just go downstairs. He's been watching The Flight Attendant season 2. I thought he had finished it already, but he said he hadn't. So he was watching The Flight Attendant season 2. They were downstairs running around. He had them on his lap. And so, but they haven't come to the door once, I don't think. So they must have just been crashed out. But anyway, that moment before I fall asleep, like sometimes my mind will go to, you need to do this tomorrow, or don't forget about that, or I'll start wanting to get like angry about something, and then I'll think, what was like the happiest that you were today, or the most peaceful, or the most content, and I go to those memories, and I try to pull from those. It's interesting like how angry we can get. Caroline and I, when we were at Costco the other day, we were coming out, and I saw this guy, and it wasn't this guy that I knew from the past, but this, I mean, because it was like 25 years ago. But this guy, look, he had like one of those hats that, you know, like clips on the end. You know what I'm talking about? And I was like, and I like those hats. I have some of them. I don't look very good on them. But I remember this guy that I knew back in the day, and he and I just never got along. And he looked just like this guy. This guy looked just like him and had a hat on just like him and stuff. I know this guy, he's not even anywhere around here now. But anyway, I looked at this guy and like, at first I was like, who does he remind me of? Like we were like walking out at the same time. And then like it kind of came to me, and like instantly I could feel myself starting to get angry. Isn't that so weird? Like, I mean, I didn't work through that resentment years ago, but isn't that so weird that we allow ourselves to get so angry from stuff that happened 25, 30 years ago? I mean, this was, listen, we just never got along about a difference of opinions. It was nothing deep. I'm not talking about, like, we have a right to get angry about, I don't want to get stuck in anger, but stuff that happened to us that was traumatic and horrible, like, obviously, I just don't want to get stuck in it. You know what I mean? But I was like, it's so easy to get, like, blindsided by anger, resentment, misery. Like, I don't want to live in it today. That practice of me, it doesn't really happen like throughout the day. Like when I'm busy and I'm uploading videos and stuff like that, it doesn't really happen to me. But like late at night in bed is where my mind goes kind of to that. And so I've been, you know, just like practicing like what's the happiest moment. I don't know, maybe I need to go back and look at some of my most peaceful moments of my life. I can remember that period of my life. Well, I'm forever grateful to that friend of mine that took me to that meeting. He didn't end up staying around for meetings. I mean, I ended up staying there for a long time and going to meetings, but he didn't. But I'm forever grateful for, I did not want to go to that meeting that first night he took me. I can remember he was like, let's go try this different meeting. It's a candlelight. I was like, I don't really want to go. And he was like, no, we'll go, because we were going to the Waffle House a lot at that time, and we go to a meeting and we go to this Waffle House in LaPel, Indiana. Small town. And I can remember I was like, no, I don't really want to go to this candlelight. He was like, come on, it'll be so much fun. I was like, I don't think so. And then that candlelight meeting led me to keep on. I mean, the guy that ended up being my sponsor, he's not, I mean, obviously he's not my sponsor today. I have a female sponsor. But he ended up being my sponsor for like 4 years. And I can remember that first meeting. I don't know what he said, but I was like, oh my God, I want this guy to be my sponsor. What's interesting about that is, I think it was Friday nights when they gave leads. And if somebody would give a lead on like, I think it was like, maybe it was like just like the first Friday. Oh no, maybe it was a Sunday. I don't remember. Maybe it was like the first Sunday of the month that they would have somebody give a lead. My sponsor now, I already knew her. Tanya and I were like friendly with her. Like we knew her from meetings and stuff to say like, hey, it's good to see you and whatever. But I didn't know her like on a deep level. Somebody, a girl that she was, well, a woman that she was sponsoring, I was good friends with this woman that she was sponsoring at the time. And so, not good friends, but like I knew her through other people, and like she was very connected in Indianapolis, and she had sponsored like a friend. She sponsored two friends. This other woman, not my sponsor. My sponsor sponsored this woman that had sponsored a couple friends of mine, so I knew her. And so like they came to this meeting one night. They came one time together, and then I stood out in the parking lot and talked to them for a long time. And I can remember like saying to my sponsor now, like, we need to get together and hang out, and Tanya would love to get together with us. And she's like, yeah, that would be so much fun. And then, unbeknownst to me, my sponsor at that time asked her to come speak and share her story. And at that time, you know what? That all happened right before Alex and I got into therapy. It was when I was going to those meetings. Because when she gave her lead was when I asked her to be my sponsor. Because one of the things that she said in her lead, and I've asked her, she's like, you can share all this, I don't care, was that she was going, like when she started going to therapy, she's like, she would tell her therapist, like, I'm going to get my money's worth, so I'm going to share some shit in here. And that really changed my I think maybe we had started therapy already. I don't really remember, but I kept on going to those meetings for a long time after that. Yeah, I don't really remember the timing of that, but I remember in her lead, she said, don't waste your money and go to therapy and not you. Like, if you're gonna, her attitude was like, if you're gonna go to therapy, get your money's worth out of it. Like, work on the hard shit. And it just like changed everything for me. She also said something in that meeting, or in her lead, was that for a long time, she hadn't been sponsorable, and that she needed to learn to be sponsorable. And that forever changed everything for me. I mean, I had heard that concept before, but being sponsorable is basically being teachable in recovery. Like, if you don't think, like, being sponsorable is that you have a sponsor that you're going to go to and take things to. When they give you suggestions, you're going to take them. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to work on this. And and she's sober, you know, as long as I am. And so when she said that, I was like, wow, that's like really powerful. And so she said a couple things in her lead, and I was just like, I want what she has. And I was always taught from day one to find the people that have what you want in recovery and do what they do. And that doesn't mean like material things. That means that emotionally, spiritually, they have the things that you want and you do what they do. And so I can remember at that time I was just wanting to make some changes. I was wanting to do some harder work. And so I asked her to sponsor me. And I remember she said she needed to talk to her sponsor first because she never sponsored a man before. And then she said if I was like early in recovery, she probably wouldn't sponsor me because, you know, we're taught that men sponsor men and women sponsor women unless you're like gay or lesbian, and then that could be other ways. But one of the things she said to me is that there's a lot of like male, female issues, that's why we recommend that. And she's like, if you're in early recovery, you know, like maybe you need to work out some of that stuff. So we started working together, and I remember the very first time we went together, or got together, we went to Charleston's up the street for dinner one night. She's always got these huge purses that she carries everywhere. And we were at dinner, and she's like, so tell me a little bit, like she knew most of my story and I knew most of hers, but she was like, tell me some things you want to work on right now. And I was telling her some stuff, and she's hilarious. My sponsor's hilarious. And she's like digging in her purse, and she's like, and I'm like, what is she doing? And all of a sudden she's got this like pamphlet out, and with a pen, and she goes, here, start writing this down. And I go, what? And she goes, we're going to inventory it right now. I'm going to show you like how I inventory so you can work on it, work through it, get it out. And I said, oh, I don't want to do inventory tonight. And she said, are you telling me no? And I said, no, I'm just like, I thought we were having dinner and we were just kind of like sharing our stories and whatever. She goes, are you telling me no? And I said, I just don't really want to do inventory right now. And she goes, this isn't going to work if you're telling me no. I was like, okay, I guess we're going to do inventory. I share this when she's sitting in meetings with me, and she just cracks up. And I said, okay. And so I was telling her stuff, and she's like, write it down. And we sat at Charleston's, and I worked through a really tough thing that I was dealing with at that time. And I remember leaving there, I was like, oh. She looked at me, and she was like, that wasn't so hard, was it? You didn't even want to do it. She's so hard on me sometimes, but she loves me like nobody's business. And I love her so much. And I can remember being like, damn, like, this is what I need right now. She's been fantastic for me. It's interesting, this road of recovery that I've been on. You know, it's like people have shown up for me at the times that I need them in my life. You know, it's like all the sponsors that I've had, it's like they showed up to teach me something at a specific time in my life. And I do think that she'll be with me for the rest of my life. Like, I think she'll be my sponsor for the rest of my life. I mean, maybe I'll find something else that I need, but I don't think so at this point. God, I smell like a bonfire or something. But anyway, it smells so good out here. It's not these candles. I mean, the candles smell good, but this one smells... I can't really smell this one. It's like the other one, the ocean hyacinth or whatever that smells. But anyway, it's like each person... Not just sponsors, but like friends of mine that have shown... And like Tanya has been my life, you know, well, since I got sober a couple years after that, my lifelong friend. But since then, like, just people that I've met in meetings, people that have become... It's like people shown up at times that, like, I needed them to show, you know, up and teach me something. God, I honestly thought this was going to be a really short vlog today. I was like, I don't really have anything to talk about whatsoever. So I guess I should go in and talk about, well, what I did. Last night, I was going to read all these comments and stuff because I was like, I don't know. Maybe I won't be. Now what am I going to do with my thumbnail responding to comments? Last night I watched Shelby Oaks, which was the movie by Chris Stuckman, who's the movie reviewer. I did my review on it on my movie channel today, so that's all I'll say. Go over there and watch it. Paid my $9.99 to rent it last night. And then after that, what did I watch first though? Did I watch Below Deck Mediterranean or was that the night before? I think I watched that last night. It's a shit show this season, but I like it. I really like everybody that's on the crew this season of Below Deck Mediterranean. And then, was last night? Oh, so Tanya's been in Florida for the last week. She and her husband went to Florida for the last week, St. Petersburg area. And so she just got back last night at like 5 o'clock. So Tanya and I talked for a long time and caught up last night. We had talked a couple nights before that. Tanya's stepdaughter and son-in-law live like half an hour from there. They go there a lot. And so they got to see some of their grandkids and stuff like that. They go to the beach. Tanya said it was like 80. So she just got back last night. She and I talked for a long time about, she was catching me up on stuff here. I was like, she was like, well, I already told you about my trip in Florida a couple nights ago. I was like, I know. I was like, but she was telling me about all this stuff here. She's like, what have you been doing? I was like, making videos, watching TV shows. We were talking about different TV shows. She hadn't started The Beast in Me yet. No, she watched one episode because she started watching The camera stopped. I almost went and got another battery, but it's kind of getting late, and I filmed today. The only channel I didn't film on was my BookTube channel. I didn't think I was going to film that much. So anyway, Tanya and I talked last night, and then I watched... Oh, she called me when I was watching Below Deck Mediterranean. It was late. Anyway, watched that, then I watched Shelby Oaks, and then I watched like 3 episodes of The Fall Season 2. I love The Fall Season 2. And before, I didn't like Gillian Anderson in it, but her character is so fantastic, and she's so important because it's really about like misogyny and double standards within the police department, and her role as a woman. I mean, she is so fantastic in this role. I don't know that it's because I was like watching an episode here and an episode there that I didn't really get it at first. I'm now like halfway through season 2, maybe a little. I think I have 2 episodes left, or I don't know how many episodes I have left of season 2. The Jamie Dornan part, like season 2 got better. I was like, at first because he's a serial killer. So it continues on to season 2. Season 2, like the mystery thriller part of it is almost better than season 1. But I watched that last night, then I went to bed, then I got up today, and, yeah, Alex was like, are you going to film today? And I was like, well, yeah, I'd like to, but if you want to, if you want to lay in bed or whatever. He's like, no. So he came downstairs with the dogs. I ended up filming on every single one of my channels except for my BookTube channel. I know, I can't believe it. I even took a walk in the rainy woods, and I did a review video outside by this Christmas tree out there. I reviewed Christmas candy. I did my TV review of 3 Pines, my movie review of Shelby Oaks. It was a good day today. And now I'm going to get off here, and you can hear the water dripping off the drain pipe, but I'm looking out there, and it doesn't look like it's really raining that much on the street. Maybe just a little bit. I really want to walk outside. I love to walk outside. So I'm really thinking maybe I'll try to walk outside. I don't know, that's going to be my evening. Should I read a comment or 2? I have no idea how long I've been going on this, so... Somebody did say something that I wanted to talk about, and now I can't remember what it was. Hold on a second in the vlog. My fear is that if I look down, and I don't know how long I've been... Well, how long have I been going? Hold on a second. For about over an hour at this point. I'm afraid if I look down and then the camera stops, it starts flashing at me, I won't see it. Okay. Comments. Lisa. Oh, I saw Lisa's comment last night. She said, oh my God, Peter, my town is getting a swig. It's opening in the next week or so. The battery is flashing at me. Now, Lisa, I thought we were friends. We watch the same TV shows and everything, and here you are trying to make me jealous, throwing that swig up in my face. No, I'm happy for you, but the line at Swig is forever long always. So you better get there early on opening day, girl. Okay, the battery is flashing at me, so I'm going to get off here now. I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Friday. And yeah, I was gonna go get another battery and just vlog for like another half an hour, but I'll respond to comments tomorrow. So, because Alex has his Friendsgiving, so then I can do my vlog for a little bit longer tomorrow. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Friday and a fantastic beginning to your weekend. I love you guys so much. This was really nice tonight, talking about that period of my life. It was just, thank you for listening. It was such a peaceful period of my, I mean, like right now is a very peaceful period of my life. I feel relaxed and calm and serene, but to remember that period and how much I learned about myself and the world and other people, that was such a great period in my life too. It makes me so grateful for what I have now as well. So thank you for listening to me. I hope you guys are having a magically amazing weekend so far. I love you, and if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.